Thank you, scholars and alumni and parents, for that moving performance. Ladies and gentlemen, as you now know, more than anything else, tonight is an invitation to all of you to move in, if you have not done so already, and become a part of what it means to move in to St. Marcus. As you just saw, moving in can mean very different things to different people. But for all of us, to make this work, it is about sacrifice, it is about grit, and it is about determination. Even if you're just getting to know St. Marcus tonight for the very first time, you already know that there are some dramatic, systemic obstacles that we are up against. Over the last 15 years at St. Marcus, I have experienced intense spiritual warfare, where the power of the Christian gospel that brings love, that brings hope, and that brings purpose runs headlong into the devil and the grip that he so often has over our city. You probably know that St. Marcus is located just 8 blocks from 53206, the zip code that incarcerates more African American men than any other in the nation. We live in a community in many ways defined by racial and economic segregation, and boys and girls growing up without their dads. We live in a community, both Harambe and the city of Milwaukee, where only 8% of low-income African-American children are proficient in reading. To put flesh on that number, out of the 360 or so who are here tonight, that would just be 4 tables of proficient students. As if these systemic obstacles don't make our work hard enough, there are also the daily circumstantial challenges that are even more daunting. By circumstantial challenges, I'm referring to challenges that are unexpected and personal. In these moments, we not only see the challenge and the difficulty, but we see the power of God at work through people. Last year, one of our 8th graders, Alexis Weathers, at about this time of year had trouble hearing and with her vision. And as her doctors investigated, they quickly determined that it was a very dangerous, malignant brain tumor. Alexis required immediate brain surgery. She continued her education from home and from the hospital. And although she graduated at the end of the year, she was unable to be there because of how sick she was. Alexis continues to fight with courage, with grit, with determination. And though she wasn't able to be at graduation, she is here tonight. She is a remarkable young lady, and I'd like to ask Alexis, who's over here next to Mr. Spruer. Sir, could you stand too? He's her dean, who's just been shepherding and encouraging her. Guys, go ahead and stand, please. Alexis, we know your fight is a hard one. You know that you have a family and a community here who is behind you, who loves you, and who are praying for you. A second circumstantial challenge took place on October 11th of this year, when a 2-alarm fire ripped through 2 houses near here on the north side. St. Marcus parent Toya Austin and her second grade son, a scholar at St. Marcus, Jeremiah, lost absolutely everything in the fire. School evangelist Marie Richardson jumped into action, assisting Toya in every possible way. About a week later, on a Monday afternoon, I called a St. Marcus donor who had called me and said, "Henry, when you have a huge personal challenge, would you please call me?" And so I had called him, and when he answered the phone, he was already in TJ Maxx with Toya and Jeremiah, buying whatever they needed to restart. That is an example of moving in. Finally, just 10 days ago, on a Wednesday morning at 9:30 a.m., the North Campus went into its third lockdown in 3 years, when shots erupted on the street outside. Thankfully, no one was hurt. But when the dust had settled, 2 cars belonging to young staff members in their early 20s had been hit by the bullets. Unfazed, these young, passionate teachers continue to minister to their students. That is moving in. People often think that St. Marcus changes lives because of the $7,300 voucher, which is a fraction of what the public schools spend to educate children. Or they think that it changes lives because of the discipline and because of the curriculum. It's none of the above. Lives are changed through relationships. Lives are changed when individuals like you and like me move out of our comfort zones and move into other people's lives the way Jesus does, with radical love, radical service, and radical commitment. I am amazed how every year that we have this gala, you move in and show that same radical support and radical commitment. And why do you do it? You do it for the same reason that we do it, so that hundreds more children can have access to an awesome Christ-centered education. In a few minutes, our evening will conclude with our Funder Need. Every single dollar pledged in the Funder Need will be directed towards the completion of Phase 1 of the North Campus. As you probably know, the new North Campus, which is located 4 blocks north and 1 block east of this site, opened at the beginning of this school year. The first floor and the second floor have already been completed and filled to capacity, providing classrooms for 130 students in grades K4 through 3rd grade. The lower level, designed to be a library and a music room and an art room, and the 3rd floor, which will be 5 additional classrooms for 150 children, are not yet completed. We have committed to raising $1 million in cash between now and year's end so that those 2 floors can be built out. And the students that you can see on the screen, who are currently 3rd graders, can have a 4th grade classroom on that 3rd floor of the building and be able to continue their education. This evening's Funder Need will launch the effort to build out those classrooms so that more children can access St. Marcus. My hope and prayer is that you will continue with the stunning generosity that we just saw, and that you will give generously and sacrificially so even more children can experience St. Marcus. We are already humbled, deeply grateful for your incredible support and your generosity. Let's keep going. Thank you, and God bless you.